Welcome Matters With. I'm your host, Philip Bryan. Today we're here to discuss novel matters with you. Holly by Stephen King, presented by Simon & Schuster's Scribner label. It is 464 pages in hardback and 15 hours and 24 minutes on Audible. Holly Gibney is one of King's best characters. She has appeared in Mr. Mercedes, Finders Keepers, End of Watch, The Outsider, and If It Bleeds. This book does not rely on those stories, but does call back to them. Holly has been played on screen by Justine Loop in Peacock's Mr. Mercedes, and by Cynthia Erivo on HBO's The Outsider. The audio version of this book features Justine Loop in a fantastic turn of narration and voice acting. As far as the book's writing, brilliant first chapter, nearly perfect. The suspense and intrigue move from the very start, but gets a bit bogged down at the 2/3 mark or so, but then quickly finds its footing again. Holly is a private investigator hired to find a missing 24-year-old woman. What she finds is there have been a lot of people to go missing in this Midwestern college town over several years. All vanishings are seemingly unrelated. We follow Holly and her team, Jerome, Barbara, and Pete, as the threads of the occurrences begin to weave together and the dots start to connect. The bulk of the story takes place while COVID-19 was peaking, or just this side of peaking, which makes for some investigation obstacles and some interesting subplots of views from vastly different views from varied characters. King has penned a suspense tale that is very good in some corners and flat out excellent in others. The villains of the story are riveting, creepy, cunning, and dynamic in a deeply disturbing manner. Holly and her team are all charming and clever and characters you'll want to know. Holly is especially quirky and charismatic with her amazingly analytical brain, movie-loving points of reference, and detective story fandom. Sidebar. Her and I share a fondness for the detective fiction of Michael Conley centered on the character of Harry Bosch. This novel is well written, moves mostly exceptionally well, and has a suspenseful story begging to be adapted into a film. And once again proves why King is a master of this craft. I think this is one of his best books in the past 10 years, mostly because Holly, this brilliant, obsessive-compulsive heroine in a constant state of trauma recovery, is intrinsically believable, likable, and oddly admirable in flaws and focus. You know, sometimes I think King is better at writing suspense novels than he is horror novels. And that's saying something, because he is the master of horror. I give it an A-. It would be a straight A, but what would a Stephen King novel be without it being a little long-winded? If you surgically cut about 10% of this novel, it would be even better. Okay, spoiler time. Once Holly and her team even remotely slip onto the radar of our antagonists, the suspense ratchets from 8 to 9.8. Once that blip on a radar gets loud, we, the reader, are in for some unrelenting tension. Jerome and Barbara, Holly's sidekicks, are fantastic characters and could each anchor a novel of their own. The professors, the cannibalistic professors, are downright scary because their crazy seems a bit too plausible in this paranoid world. A leap to the school of thought that these monsters host is not that far in the fear-riddled minds of today's reality. Again, Holly by Stephen King is a suspenseful tale I highly recommend. Let me know what you think of Holly. What is your favorite Stephen King novel? What is your favorite Stephen King movie adaptation or television series adaptation? Who are some of your favorite characters from the Kingverse? We'll talk soon.